Welcome back to another episode of What If Naruto Had a Big Brother? In this alternate Naruto universe, one small twist changes everything. What if Naruto wasn't alone? What if he grew up with someone stronger, smarter, and born to rewrite destiny itself? Today, we dive deeper into the story of Kaito Uzumaki, Naruto's powerful older brother whose existence shakes the entire Shinobi world. New alliances form, new enemies rise, and the future of Konoha may never be the same again. So sit back, relax, and get ready, because this episode is about to change everything. Boruto smiled. You should come home too, Dad. I'm sure Mom and Himawari would love to see you, plus, it's already morning. He pointed to the window where early sunlight poured through. Naruto glanced at the rising sun, then back at Boruto. I'd like to, but I've still got work to finish. He gestured toward the towering stack of paperwork on his desk. Boruto frowned. But Dad. Sasuke, already at the door, turned back. Actually, Naruto, I think you should go home today. Spend time with your family. Or one day, you might regret not doing it. Naruto blinked, thrown off. Ha. Sasuke gave him a level look. Leave a shadow clone to finish the paperwork. Trust me, you'll want to go home today. Boruto piped up, hopeful. Yeah, Dad. Just for today, leave a clone, you know. Naruto looked between them and sighed. All right. I guess I could leave a shadow clone behind just this once. Boruto fist-pumped. Yatta. Then, without wasting a second, he grabbed Naruto's arm. Come on. If we hurry, Mom and Hima will have just woken up, and if we're lucky, she hasn't started cooking yet. As Boruto dragged him toward the door, Naruto stumbled a bit, laughing. Hey, slow down. I still need to leave a clone behind, you know. The morning sun rose over the hidden leaf, casting a warm glow across the rooftops as villagers began their day. Down one of those busy streets, Naruto walked side by side with Boruto, having just left the Hokage tower. People called greetings as they passed. Good morning, Lord Seventh. Hello, Hokage-sama. Boruto-sama too. Naruto waved back, smiling. Boruto, hands in his pockets, glanced around at the familiar streets. A lot's changed in Konoha since back then, you know. Naruto chuckled. Yeah, it's different from when I was a kid. Bet it looks completely new to you. Boruto nodded. Some things haven't changed. Hokage Mountain, the office in the same place. Just renovated. Naruto eyed him, curious. So, Boruto, how was it? You said Mom sealed the mark on your hand. How'd you meet her? I doubt Sasuke would have just introduced you to. Boruto shook his head. It was Kaito. He figured it out the moment we arrived. Naruto's eyebrows rose. Your brother from that timeline? But how? Boruto laughed, hands behind his head. We showed up a few kilometers out, and this red-haired kid, about my age, turned up from a field trip with a bunch of academy kids. He didn't trust our IDs and captured us, interrogated us. He even paralyzed Sasuke with Fuinjutsu and pinned me down. Then he guessed where we were from just by sensing our chakra, like he read our minds or something. After that he escorted us to the village with his team, Mom, Shikamaru, and Sakura-san. Naruto blinked. Wait. You met Mom, Shikamaru, and Sakura? Yeah, Boruto said. Kaito sent us to the Hokage's office while he took the others back to the academy. Tsunade-bochan was scary then. Naruto frowned. Tsunade? Wasn't the third still Hokage back then? She didn't take the title until I was 13. Boruto sighed. Different timeline. Kaito and Lady Tsunade actually impeached the third because he was a terrible leader in that version. Kaito convinced Tsunade to come back and take the job. Naruto looked pensive. I see. Then eager, he asked, so how did you meet Grandma? They stepped through the Uzumaki gate onto the patio. Boruto grinned. Kaito convinced Grandma I was some long-lost cousin. She didn't believe it at first. When she saw me, she started crying. Naruto froze. Why? Boruto scratched his head awkwardly. She thought I was some love child Grandpa had. She thought Grandpa cheated and I came looking for my real dad. Then that version of you came out and tried to fight me for making his mom cry. It was chaos until Kaito calmed everyone and explained. Grandma went from crying to overjoyed in seconds. Naruto laughed. She really thought that? You do look a lot like me, I guess. Boruto led them inside. Mom, we're home. He slipped off his sandals and set them neatly. Hinata appeared from the kitchen in an apron, surprised to see Naruto. Naruto-kun? Did something happen at the tower? She asked. Naruto rubbed his head sheepishly. Boruto kinda dragged me home, you know. Hinata blinked at Boruto's unusual behavior. I was about to start breakfast. Would you like to join us? Boruto waved her off. Not necessary, Mom. Himawari bounded down the stairs, squealing when she saw Naruto. Papa, you're back. And Nichan too. She threw herself at him. Naruto crouched to hug her. Ah, Hima. It's good to see you too, you know. Boruto clapped his hands. Everyone to the living room. I've got something for you. He knelt by the table and began pulling scrolls from his pouch, laying them out. Himawari peered. Nichan, what are these? Just a second, Boruto said, arranging them. Hinata glanced at Naruto. Do you know what Boruto is doing? Naruto smiled. I've got an idea. Boruto stood. As Dad knows, Sasuke and I went to the past. I met Grandma Kushina. Hinata's hand went to her mouth, stunned. Himawari looked confused. You met Grandma? But, isn't she? Boruto rubbed his head. Hard to explain, Hima. I kinda went back in time. Naruto smiled at his daughter. It's complicated, Hima. What matters is Boruto met Grandma. Boruto pulled 3 small scrolls from his pouch and unsealed them, letters. Here, Dad, this one's for you. Mom, this is yours. Hima, this one's for you too. Hinata's fingers trembled as she accepted hers. Naruto held his, expression unreadable. Hinata asked, Naruto-kun, are you okay? He nodded, voice small. Yeah, I just. He unfolded the letter. To my sweet Naruto-chan. Hi there, you know? It feels strange writing this to a version of my son from another timeline. But I can't hold it in. I'm so proud of you. You've grown into such a strong man, not just in strength, but in heart. I'm sorry I wasn't there for you in your timeline. No child should have to face that alone. Even if I'm not your Kushina, please believe me, I love you. Eat properly. Rest. When you're overwhelmed, breathe. You've carried so much, you deserve peace. I'm happy you found Hinata. If she's even half as wonderful as she is here, she's perfect. Spending time with Boruto was one of the greatest joys of my life. He's bright, stubborn, reckless, definitely your son, you know. But loving and thoughtful. Please take care of your family. Don't forget them for the village. Cherish those moments. I left you something. A schedule planner Minato made to help free up your time. Ask Boruto for it, alright? P.S. Give Hima a big kiss from Grandma, would you? With all my love. Kushina Uzumaki. As Naruto read, his hands trembled. A breath escaped him, part sigh, part sob. For a second the weight on his shoulders loosened, and his eyes shone. Boruto watched quietly. Himawari leaned in and whispered, Is Papa crying? Hinata smiled, misting. No, Hima. They're happy tears. Naruto wiped his face and laughed through it. She really wrote this, huh? Even from another timeline. She still called me her son. Boruto grinned. She asked me to make sure you guys read them. Naruto blinked. Wait. She said you showed her what we all looked like. How'd you have our pictures? I used transformation jutsu, Boruto said. Naruto nodded, half in awe. He urged Hinata and Himawari to open theirs. Hinata unsealed hers. To my dear daughter-in-law, Hinata-chan. Hi there, you know? I hope this reaches you warmly. Thank you for loving Naruto and giving him a family. I'm sorry I wasn't there in your timeline. Thank you for being his light. I've sent you replicas of Uzumaki heirloom jewelry, my recipe book, and video tutorials for my dishes. I included scrolls of Uzumaki Fuinjutsu, teach them to Boruto and Hime. Please take care of Naruto, drag him away from work if needed. With all my heart. Kushina Uzumaki. Hinata's cheeks flushed. She thanked me for loving you. Naruto's smile softened. Hinata unrolled a scroll labeled heirlooms. A puff of chakra released a wrapped jewelry box. Inside were bracelets, earrings, a hair ornament, delicate, red and gold, Uzumaki style. They're beautiful, Hinata whispered. Himawari clapped. Naruto admired the pieces, eyes warm. Hinata noted Kushina's line about daughters-in-law, and Boruto explained Kaito Uzumaki, an older brother in that timeline. Hinata paled at the thought of Naruto having a brother. Himawari asked if Mama had a sister. Boruto mentioned Hataru Hyuga, a teammate of Kaito's who resembled Hinata in that timeline. Hinata wondered aloud whether her father knew anything. Boruto handed out more scrolls. Naruto unsealed one, 10 sets of clothing with a note. This is for you, Naruto-chan. My gift for you becoming Hokage. Naruto's voice wavered with pride. He unwrapped a white Hokage cloak with crimson flames and the kanji, 7th Hokage, son of the red hot-blooded habanero. He laughed through misty eyes. She signed it like that. He continued unwrapping a custom set, black vest with orange trim, gloves, reinforced armguards, full ninja gear, clearly made with care. She really thought of everything, he breathed. Himawari squealed as she opened her gifts, fox ear sweater, Uzumaki scarf, mittens, a yukata, handmade delights. Hinata unrolled her scroll and found Kushina's book of recipes with a note, for my future daughter-in-law, the one who keeps everyone fed and loved. Naruto squealed at the miso char siu ramen entry. Hinata giggled and promised to try the recipe. Boruto released the preservation scroll with a puff. Dish after dish popped into being: miso char siu ramen, red bean stew, grilled mackerel, fox-shaped vegetables, bento boxes, and Kushina's spicy curry. The house filled with steam and mouth-watering aromas. It's really her cooking. Naruto whispered, eyes wet. Hinata's hand flew to her mouth. Himawari sniffed, delighted. Boruto grinned. She even made extra bowls just for you, Dad. They bowed together. Itadakimasu. Naruto's first bite stopped him mid-chew. He closed his eyes and trembled. Tears pricked and rolled down his cheeks as he tasted it. He reached for another, savoring every bite. Himawari crunched tempura happily. Boruto nodded. Her food's as good as yours, Mom, you know. Himawari piped up, Daddy, why are you crying? Naruto smiled through tears. I'm just so happy, Hime. I always wanted to eat her cooking, you know. I never thought I'd get the chance. Hinata squeezed his hand. Boruto pulled another scroll for Hinata. This one's from Grandma Hitomi. Kaito said you'd like it. Hinata unsealed it. A wooden box of dango appeared with a handwritten recipe. She tasted one, eyes closing. It's exactly how she used to make it. Himawari hummed in delight. Hinata considered taking some to her father and Hanabi. Naruto encouraged it. The family ate and laughed, quiet and full. Between bites, Hinata asked, So, Boruto, what did you do in the past? Boruto grinned. Kaito trained me a lot. I'm stronger now. I could even give you a run for your money, old man. Naruto smirked. Wanna spar after we eat? Boruto nodded. Yeah, you bet. Hinata frowned at the mention of Otsutsuki. Boruto explained they went after Urashi, who targeted Kurama. Kaito defeated him, Boruto said. Sasuke got drained early. Urashi broke my hand. Kaito, though, he mastered Sage Mode. He took some of Kurama's chakra from the younger you when you went berserk and used it to finish Urashi. Grandma said he's the youngest to master Sage Mode, strongest in the village. Naruto's jaw tightened. He mastered Sage Mode at 13? You said I went berserk. Boruto nodded. Urashi impaled Kaito through the chest. Everyone thought he died. You lost it and Kurama's chakra burst out. Kaito used that to take Urashiki down. Naruto was silent, absorbing the story. Boruto added, Kaito suggested I learn the Toad contract if I want real sage mode. He learned the slug contract for healing. Slug sages regenerate fast. Naruto's face went thoughtful. Tsunade let him sign the slug contract. If you're serious, I can introduce you to Gamakichi later. They finished, plates cleared and hearts full, the house lingering in the afterglow of food and family, new gifts and old grief softened for a moment by the warmth of Kushina's words and the taste of a mother's cooking. Boruto shrugged, setting down his chopsticks. Sasuke got his chakra drained right at the beginning. Urashiki broke my hand and kicked me aside like I was nothing. It was all Kaito. He mastered sage mode, and used it along with some of Kurama's chakra he took from you when you went berserk. Naruto's eyes widened. He mastered sage mode. But, didn't you say he was around your age? And what do you mean, I went berserk? Boruto nodded. Yeah, he's 13. Grandma said he's the youngest to ever master sage mode. She also said he's the strongest person in the village. Urashiki impaled Kaito through the chest. Everyone thought he died. You lost it after that, Kurama's chakra burst out of you, and that's when Kaito used it to finish Urashiki. Naruto fell quiet for a second, trying to process it. Then Boruto added, Oh, speaking of sage mode, Kaito told me to ask you about the Toad contract. He says I should learn it. Naruto blinked. Don't you already have the snake contract? Boruto nodded. I do. But Kaito said that to truly master sage mode I should go to the toads or the slugs. He learned from the slugs. Apparently that's why he heals so fast. Slug sages can regenerate like crazy. Naruto crossed his arms, thoughtful. So Tsunade actually let him sign the slug contract. He smiled. If you're serious, I can introduce you to Gamakichi later. The morning sun cast gold over the village. Sasuke moved through an apartment hallway, calm, and slipped inside his home. In the kitchen, Sakura tied an apron and glanced up. Oh, Sasuke, welcome home. Did you just wake up? He asked. No, I just got back a little while ago. The alert was cancelled, right? She said, heading into the kitchen. Sasuke nodded and placed a wrapped package on the dining table. Sakura paused. Where'd you get that? He pulled a scroll from his pouch. Itachi gave it to me. Sarada wandered in, rubbing sleep from her eyes. Mama, do we have anything to eat? Papa? You're home. Sasuke nodded. Good morning, Sarada. Come, sit. He unrolled the scroll. With a puff of chakra, steam and hot dishes appeared. 3 neatly packed bentos, tamagoyaki, carriage, grilled fish, miso soup, chawanmushi, tonkatsu, oden, and dorayaki stacked on a dessert plate. Sarada's eyes shone. Wow! This looks amazing. Papa, where did you get all this? Someone gave it to me, Sasuke said simply. Sakura found a folded note atop one box. She read aloud silently, then looked up, brow furrowed. Hey there, Sasuke-kun. I hope you enjoy the food. The bento was made by Mikoto-san. I lied about losing money gambling with Tsunade to make her help. Embarrassing. I made the rest. I included Mikoto's recipes. Boruto said you have a daughter now, so I sealed a gift for her at the bottom. Take care of your family, Kushina. Tap here with chakra, you know. A tiny chibi Kushina winked from the corner. Sakura's confusion turned to sharp curiosity. Who is Kushina? Sasuke let out a quiet sigh. She's Naruto's mother. Sarada gaped. Lord Seventh's mom? Sakura's face went pale. Naruto's mother died years ago. Sasuke explained. Urashiki used a device to go to the past to steal Kurama. Boruto and Sasuke chased him and were pulled into an alternate timeline where Kushina survived. Boruto stayed with her there. Sarada's eyes widened. Sakura tried to absorb time travel and alternate timeline, while the table filled with a sudden puff of smoke. A small wooden box and a thin notebook appeared. Sasuke handed the box to Sarada. Inside was a hand-knitted red scarf and a delicate pair of Uchiha crest earrings. Sarada's face lit up. Sakura unwrapped the cloth bundle Itachi had left, 3 stacked boxes and a note. Heard you were married, and had a daughter. These are for them, and you. The dango is for you to share. It was made by Mom. Itachi. Sakura opened her box to find an ornate hairpin, gilded and filigreed with the Uchiha crest. Sarada opened her own, 2 scrolls and a small box. Inside the box was a golden Uchiha crest pendant. One scroll contained a summoning contract, the other, Sasuke recognized the script, was a jutsu, a crow clone technique, blending substitution and a replacement style effect. He told Sarada he'd train her later. Her eyes brightened. Papa, you'll train me? Really? She asked, thrilled. Sakura laughed. Hold on, eat first. This was made by your grandmother. Kushina went through a lot for this. They ate together, Sarada's first bite bringing a delighted wow. This is so good. Sasuke took his mother's food and for a moment simply closed his eyes, savoring what had been given. By noon, a training ground outside the village hosted Naruto and Boruto. Hinata and Himawari watched from a boulder with a picnic basket. Boruto cracked his knuckles. I'm not holding back, Dad. Naruto beamed. Good. Come at me with everything. Boruto vanished in a blur. Naruto barely blocked the first strike. The match surged. Kicks, flips, rapid hand signs, and a hail of multiplying shuriken. Boruto's shuriken multiplied into hundreds. Naruto called it out. Shuriken Kage Bunshin. Boruto flickered, swapped positions, and launched a powerful Rasengan that grew into a basketball-sized sphere. Naruto formed his own to meet it. Rasengan. Both techniques slammed together, lightning arced from Boruto's sphere. Boruto's Rasengan overwhelmed Naruto's and detonated, carving a trench in the clearing. Dust settled. Himawari cried out, and Hinata held her back. Boruto panted, trembling from exertion. A calm voice spoke from behind him. Naruto, standing with folded arms and a grin, kicked Boruto lightly and praised him. I'm impressed, Boruto. Himawari cheered and ran to hug her father. Sarada and Sasuke arrived at the edge. Sarada's eyes widened. Since when could Boruto fight like that? Sasuke explained quietly. Boruto trained with Kaito in the past. Sarada, watching, felt a spark of resolve. Papa. Train me hard. I won't be left behind. Sasuke smirked and led her away. Boruto's right eye had changed. Scare dark, iris light blue, a faint shimmer. Sarada, Himawari, and Hinata noticed. Sasuke calmly said, that's the Jogan. Hinata asked if he had awakened it on the mission. Sasuke said Boruto had it since the academy but only used it instinctively. Kaito helped him learn control. On the field, Boruto flickered and swapped with a shuriken, forming a Rasengan infused with lightning, then met Naruto in full force. The clash rocked the ground. Boruto's technique detonated. He scanned the area. Did I get him? A foot slammed into his side. Naruto rose, smiling. Boruto grinned back, proud. Himawari raced in and hugged Naruto. Hinata offered Boruto a hand and praised him. He pulled himself up, embarrassed and happy. Naruto's expression turned more serious. Boruto, your eye. What was that? Boruto grinned. I thought I had the Byakugan, but it's not. Kaito and Urashiki called it the Jogan. It only activated in danger before. Kaito helped me control it. It sharpens perception. Helps me track movements. Sasuke said it's as good as his Sharingan for tracking. My chakra controls better too. Kaito taught me to use less hand signs. Oh, and I might be able to open portals to other dimensions. I can see space-time ninjutsu and track where portals will appear. Naruto nodded, impressed. Your chakra controls better, you're using fewer hand signs. Is that from the eye? Mostly Kaito, Boruto said, smiling. He had me doing his training routines. No hand signs. Tough stuff, you know. Naruto chuckled. And that last jutsu, instant swap? That was Fuinjutsu, right? Like Hiraishin but seals-based. Boruto explained the instant swap: mark an object with a seal and swap places with it. Kaito made it as an easier-to-learn Hiraition analog. Hinata scolded gently, call him uncle, he trained you. Boruto shrugged. He was 13. Felt weird saying uncle. Naruto laughed softly. They stood in the warm afterglow of training, family around them, the village humming beyond. Answers and new burdens settled for now beneath the steady bright morning. He smiled, remembering. He could use all his jutsu without even using hand signs. He had me doing his training routine. It was tough, you know? I barely made it to the end of the day. Naruto chuckled. And that last jutsu you used, was that from your eye? It looked kind of like Dad's Hiraition. Or more like Sasuke's Rinnegan ability, you know. Boruto shook his head. Nah, that's a Fuinjutsu Kaito created. He calls it instant swap. It's like a mix between Shunshin and the replacement jutsu, but it uses seals. He mimed the motion with his hands as he explained. You mark an object, kinda like Hiraition, then you swap places with it. Kaito said he made it because he couldn't learn the real Hiraition. Same idea, way easier to pick up. At least that's what he told me, you know. Hinata frowned a little and spoke up. Boruto. Why are you calling him Kaito? Isn't he supposed to be your uncle? You should show some respect. He trained you and taught you a lot. Boruto scratched the back of his head, embarrassed. Sorry mom. I got used to it, you know? I met him when he was 13. Felt weird calling him uncle when he was barely older than me, you know. Naruto laughed softly. Heh, I guess that makes sense. It was ANB Year 9. The noon sun hung high over the hidden leaf, its warm rays filtering through the dense trees. Birds cut across the blue in shifting formations. At the main gate the enormous doors stood open. Inside the guard booth Kotetsu and Izumo slumped behind their desks, boredom thick on their faces. Kotetsu flopped over the desk with a groan. Ugh. I'm gonna pass out if nothing happens soon. Izumo, chin propped on his hand, scolded without much heat. You're getting a little too relaxed, don't you think? We can't let our guard down. Kotetsu moaned. It's been so quiet. It's actually getting boring. A red blur landed in front of them with perfect timing, a theatrical bow following. Kaito rose grinning, Kakashi and Hataru dropping in beside him. I humbly greet the great, mighty eternal gatekeepers of Konoha. Please, grant us humble travelers permission to enter, Kaito called, grinning so wide it was almost cheeky. Kotetsu rolled his eyes. One of these days, we'll stick you in this booth and see how funny that is. Kaito produced a stamped form with a mock flourish. The guards went pale. Izumo rifled drawers while Kotetsu flipped papers. Looking for this? Kaito teased, twirling the missing stamp between two fingers. Give that back. Kotetsu barked, snatching it away. Izumo, half annoyed, warned, that's forgery. We could report you to the Hokage, get you in trouble. Kaito shrugged, smug. Good luck proving it. Kakashi stepped forward and took the paper from Kaito's hand, dryly asking, So, are we cleared to enter? Kaito flopped at the booth's wall, casually asking the guards about their shift. Around 5, huh? How about a 5-a-side match at 6? Kotetsu's face lit up. Izumo rolled his eyes but relented after a bit of nudging. Kakashi protested at first, then, after something whispered between him and Kaito that made his eye twitch suspiciously, he sighed and agreed to join, on the condition it stayed quiet. Guy, overhearing later at a tea shop, exploded with enthusiasm. Football. YOSH. My flames of youth shall blaze. They bumped shoulders, teased one another, and the little group set off toward the Hokage Tower, making detours to habit, tea, dango, and the usual village chatter. At a table Guy pumped his fist, Anko snapped off another skewer of dango, and Asuma watched Kaito with an intent expression. Are you Kaito Uzumaki? Asuma asked suddenly. The question made heads turn. Kaito kept his face neutral. Yeah, that's me. Asuma nodded, surprising Kaito with a grin. You've got guts, kid. My old man talked about you. If you still need players for the field, I'm in. Kaito blinked, pleased. Sure. Check with Guy. They reached the Hokage's office. Shizen led them in. In Tsunade's office, Kushina sat across from the Hokage, a bento in hand. Kushina sprang up the moment she saw Kaito and Hataru and hugged them like she'd been waiting in the wings forever. Kai-kun. Hataru-chan. Welcome back, you know. She beamed. Kaito flopped onto the armrest of Tsunade's chair and accepted a piece of ebi tempura from his mother with a grateful, exaggerated slurp. Tsunade tried to focus on Kakoshi's mission report, but her eye twitched as Kushina fed her son mid-briefing. Kakashi finished. Tsunade gave orders about increased patrols along the Land of Lightning's border. Kushina, unconcerned with protocol, invited everyone to lunch. Hataru, sitting across from Tsunade, accepted a bento and then blinked in surprise when Tsunade slid a folder across. You're recommended for Jonin promotion, Tsunade said. You'll lead a team on an A-rank mission as your assessment. You've got a month to prepare. Hataru's face went bright and serious. Kaito squeezed her shoulder. Kushina teased like a proud mother. Tsunade told Kaito to hurry up if he truly liked Hataru. Hataru blushed and hid behind her bento, flustered but happy. Kaito's face suddenly tightened. One of his clone's memories surfaced. I have to go, he said abruptly, and teleported away before anyone could stop him. Tsunade pinched the bridge of her nose. He's going to be the death of me one day, she muttered fondly. Later, in the old safehouse Minato had used to shelter Kushina and the children during the Nine-Tails attack, two of Kaito's shadow clones hovered over a desk. A pig lay on the table under a stasis seal. Kaito landed softly behind them, quiet, his eyes narrowing at the experiment. You sure the results are accurate? He asked. We double-checked, one clone answered, handing over a diagnostic report. V25 is a success. Why ask? You already have the memories. Kaito scanned the report anyway. The clones readied a final tag. One of them murmured a quick apology and stabbed the pig with a kunai. The stasis held it motionless. The clone placed the seal tag on the pig's head and stepped back. Kaito formed a half-tiger seal and activated it. The tag glowed green. Sage chakra flowed from the seal into the pig, bathing its wound in warm energy. Flesh knitted, vitals stabilized. Crucially, the pig did not petrify. It stirred, then blinked awake, whole healed. Kaito couldn't help himself. He leapt into the air, shouting, Yatta. He grabbed both clones and bounced like a kid. 25 tries. 25 versions. Every prior attempt had turned test subjects to stone the instant sage chakra entered. This one had held. This iteration worked. One clone spoke cautiously. Next stage is human trials? Kaito nodded. Yeah. But first we need new tags. These aren't reusable. Make 4 of them. The clone sighed. Another 4 months, then. What should we do with the pig? Kaito looked down at the animal, smiling softly. Set him free, you know. Let him live the rest of his life in peace. He earned it. He paused, hands on the table, staring at the little notebook of notes and seals they'd made. Hope stirred in him like a slow-burning fire. At last, a crack in the wall that had held his mother's sickness in place. Within seconds the pig's wound began to close. Flesh knitted together. Vital signs steadied. And, most importantly, it didn't turn to stone. The pig stirred, blinked, fully healed and whole. Kaito froze for a beat, then launched himself into the air. Yatta! He shouted, eyes bright with pure joy. It finally worked. He seized both clones by the shoulders and bounced with them. It worked. It actually worked. 25 tries, and we cracked it. You know. This was it, the 25th iteration of the healing seal he'd been building to cure his mother. Every prior version had failed. The moment sage chakra entered a body it petrified them. This one hadn't. Kaito finally calmed, breath coming a little faster than usual. One clone met his gaze, serious. So, next stage is human trials? Kaito nodded. Yeah. But first we need new tags. These aren't reusable. We'll have to make 4 of them. The other clone sighed. So another 4 months then. What do we do with the pig? Kaito gave a small, soft smile as he looked down at the animal. Set him free, you know. Let him live out the rest of his life in peace. The morning sun poured over the village, golden across rooftops as people began their day. Kaito dashed across the skyline, leaping from roof to roof, red hair catching the wind, and arrived at the Hyuga compound in minutes. He nodded to the guards, who returned polite bows, and moved through the courtyard, gravel crunching beneath his sandals. He paused at the sliding door for the clan head's home and knocked. The door opened to Hitomi Hyuga, her face brightened at the sight of him. "Ah, good to see you, Kaito-kun," she said warmly. "My, you've gotten even more handsome this past year. My daughter is lucky." She teased him, then asked, "Why haven't you been visiting lately?" Kaito rubbed the back of his neck. "Things have been a bit crazy lately, you know." Hitomi, enjoying his fluster, laughed and stepped aside. "Come in. We can talk over tea." He took off his sandals, bowed, and followed her through holes until she knocked on another sliding door. "Honey, Kaito-kun is here to see you," she called. Hayashi rose from his desk, set papers aside, and told them to come in. Kaito bowed to the clan head. "Thank you for seeing me, Hayashi-sama." "Please, have a seat," Hayashi said, gesturing. Hitomi poured tea and handed him a cup. Hayashi's voice carried an amused edge. "I hope this isn't another adventure like last time, when you showed up with Lady Tsunade and almost stirred trouble." Kaito gave a nervous laugh. "No, nothing like that." He sipped the tea and choked a little when Hitomi teased him about asking for Hataru's hand. Hayashi waved the teasing away and waited for Kaito to speak. Kaito set the cup down, serious now. "I need a Byakugan user. Someone I trust. I've been working on a healing seal, V25. The last animal test worked, but I need Byakugan insight for human trials." Hitomi tilted her head. "Why not ask Hataru?" Kaito's fingers tightened. "I don't want Hataru to know. If she finds out I'm testing on people, she'll hate it. I'm afraid she'd see me differently." Hayashi's gaze sharpened. "Does Lady Tsunade know?" "Yes. After the animal success, I asked Tsunade. She approved human trials. I've got 2 captured rogues whose injuries mimic my mother's. I need someone to observe chakra coil repair with the Byakugan." Kaito produced a sealing tag and offered it. Hitomi examined the markings and nodded slowly. "This is your seal." Kaito swallowed. "The next step is human testing. I know it sounds awful. I'm not proud. But if this works, my mum could be cured." Hitomi put a steady hand on his shoulder. "We'll help." Hayashi rose, adjusting robes. "I have a clan meeting in an hour, but if Hitomi will go, I'll trust her judgment." Relief flooded Kaito. He bowed deeply. "Thank you. It will be at one of my father's old safe houses, close by. I can use Hiration to take you there." Hitomi slipped on her sandals. Hayashi walked them to the threshold and gave Kaito a brief, firm wish of luck. Kaito offered his hand. She took it. In an instant they vanished, teleported away, leaving Hayashi alone with his papers and a quiet exhale. Outside the village, in the safe-house-turned-laboratory, Kaito's shadow clones moved with precise choreography. Lab coats on, they prepped equipment. Tsunade sat with a cup of sake and an open file, brows knitted as she skimmed the notes. "These seals are advanced, brat," she muttered, looking at the setup. "Why not just borrow hospital gear?" One clone tapped a sleek diagnostic tablet. "This thing isn't just a vitals monitor. It tracks chakra capacity, fluctuations, internal injuries, gives a 3D live visual of the chakra network and body structure, even bone density. It's like a combined chakra scan and X-ray." Tsunade swiped the screen, a rotating torso and glowing chakra coils appeared. She arched an eyebrow. "Live?" "Yep, all in real time, you know," the clone replied. He explained the sensor bed seals that transmit data to the tablet. They'd tried making standalone tags, but interference ruined the signal in open spaces. Under a barrier the seals worked, out in the wild, not so much. Tsunade considered the device. "If you can mass-produce this for the hospital, Konoha would be leaps ahead. The clone shrugged. We could, but it'll take time. He then produced an earlier iteration of the healing seal. V25 had been the Sento version that worked with senjutsu, but this earlier one functioned with ordinary chakra. The clone unsealed a tag and handed it to Tsunade. This version works with regular chakra. It won't regenerate limbs, but it repairs damaged organs and tissue. It's chargeable by a chunin, takes about a day's worth of chakra. Tsunade turned the tag over in her hands, thoughtful. Even if it's less potent, that could save lives on the battlefield. She tapped the tablet. We'll need tests. Kaito and Hitomi appeared in a flash. Hitomi steadied herself, breathing lightly. Tsunade rose. Good. You two made it. Hitomi bowed. Nice to meet you, Lady Hokage. Kaito's clone brought the diagnostic tablet and the life pulse tag to him. Everything's ready, boss. Hitomi asked, what's its name? Kaito blinked. V25, until now. Maybe Sage Art, Life Pulse Regeneration Seal? The clone scribbled it down. Tsunade snorted and got to work. The two rogue shinobi lay on beds under stasis seals, faces marked with kanji. Kaito explained his method. He'd severed and then stabilized chakra coils with a wind-release Rasengan to mimic his mother's wounds. The rogues had been captured 6 months ago and prepared to mirror her condition. Hitomi steadied herself and activated her Byakugan. Veins bloomed around her eyes. Kaito formed a one-handed tiger seal and whispered Kai. He placed the life pulse tag on the Kusa shinobi's forehead. The tag flared emerald and dissolved. Hitomi scanned. The damaged chakra coils, they've regenerated. Tsunade checked the tablet and handed it to Kaito. She's right. She didn't soften the truth. She told him directly to stop using his Kekiai Genkai and retrain his body without relying on it. According to her calculations, if he kept using Shikatsu Myaku at full power, he wouldn't last more than 5 or 6 years. Kaito remembered clearly. In the original timeline, Kimimaro only lived to 15 or 16. Even Orochimaru's curse mark had barely delayed the inevitable. Kaito had an idea about how to cure him someday, but he needed Tsunade's help and a crucial missing piece he hadn't found yet. Meanwhile, life in the village slowly returned to normal. Naruto had gone back to the academy after a week of extra training. Karen came back from her stay at the Hyuga compound. Just then Kaito's shadow clone stepped forward. All right, don't get too excited yet, the clone warned, pointing to the second rogue shinobi on the next bed. We still need to test it on the other one. Can't rule out that this was a one-time fluke, you know. Kaito couldn't wipe the grin off his face, but he nodded. Yeah, you're right. Tsunade gave a brief, businesslike nod. Let's verify it. We need consistency before calling it a success. She moved to the other bed, the man from the Land of Stone, while the clone placed the seal tag on his forehead. The tag flared to life and dissolved just like the first. Hitomi's Byakugan swept over the man. She smiled and said, Hi. The seal worked. His chakra coils are fully healed. Everything's functioning normally. Tsunade removed her hand from the man's abdomen and confirmed, yeah. The chakra network is completely intact. It's working perfectly. Kaito's face lit up the moment Tsunade spoke. Fist pumping, he leapt into the air. Yatta. It worked. It finally worked, you know. Years of research, years of failure, now success. He spun and hugged his shadow clone so hard they both bounced in circles, shouting, It worked. It worked. Hitomi covered her mouth, chuckling. Kaito-kun. You're going to pop Clone-kun if you squeeze him any tighter, she teased. Even Tsunade couldn't hide the small smile tugging at her lips. Kaito let go and turned to them, beaming. I have to get Mom. She can be healed today, you know. Tsunade's hand landed on his shoulder and kept him there. Yeah, not so fast, brat. Kaito blinked. Huh? Why? Tsunade's tone was calm but iron. Even if the experiment succeeded, we can't risk trying it on Kushina yet. I need to run tests on these two and keep them under observation. Make sure there aren't hidden side effects. Hitomi nodded and patted his shoulder. We can't be too hasty, Kaito-kun. Better safe than sorry. Kaito's excitement sagged into disappointed understanding. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. How long? Maybe 2 days. Maybe a week. Could be longer, depends on the tests. Tsunade ruffled his hair. Don't look so down. Kushina's waited 10 years. A few more days won't change much. This is your mother's life we're talking about. Kaito exhaled and forced a small smile. Yeah. I don't want to risk her life either. I just thought, today, you know. Tsunade stood, brisk. No moping. If you want results quickly, I'll assign Shizune to start tests on both subjects immediately. She gestured at the beds. I'll take these to the hospital, that'll speed things up. Kaito scratched his head. Okay. We'll need seal barriers in the room to block interference, you know. Tsunade gave him a deadpan look. Then what are you standing around for? Get them transferred and start setting up your seals. Kaito's clone raised a hand. Boss, we still haven't tried the other thing yet. Kaito's eyes widened. Oh right. I kinda forgot about that. Tsunade's brow arched. Other thing. She glanced between original and clone. What are you talking about? Kaito shifted. So, the life pulse regeneration seal might also, well, in theory, revive someone. Hitomi's eyes widened. Revive? As in bring someone back from the dead. A theory, Tsunade repeated flatly. Kaito rubbed the back of his head. I tested it on a fish once. It had just died. When I used the seal it revived. But waited an hour and it didn't work. There's a time limit, you know. Like a defibrillator for the body, but using senjutsu, natural energy, life energy. In theory, if applied soon enough after death. Tsunade stared at him, then huffed. Fine. Show me. Kaito looked puzzled. On who? Using the rogues might mess with the data. Tsunade scribbled, stamped the paper with chakra, and handed it to him. Take this to Ibiki. Tell him I need a death row inmate, now. And make it quick. Also send your shadow clone to get those 2 transferred to the hospital. She formed a seal and created a shadow clone of her own. Take my clone with you. Kaito nodded, took the paper, and vanished in a flash of red. His clones moved to lift the 2 rogues and teleport them, with Tsunade's clone, to the hospital. Tsunade sank into a chair and muttered, Things are never simple with that kid, are they? Hitomi chuckled. No. But that's Kaito-kun, always full of surprises. A while later, in the lab's hush, Kaito placed the life pulse tag on the dead shinobi's forehead. Ready? He asked. Ready, Tsunade said, eyes on the tablet. Hitomi's Byakugan kept her gaze locked. Kaito formed a half-tiger seal and whispered Kai. The tag flared that same vibrant green. Light engulfed the body, the tag dissolved. Hitomi gasped. His heart. It's beating again. He's alive. Tsunade checked the tablet. Brain activity is normal. Vitals stable. She told Kaito to remove the stasis seal. The rogue bolted upright with a frantic gasp, then panic flooded his features. Chakra chains snared him and held him fast. He thrashed, eyes wide, until Tsunade's voice snapped his attention. Itachi Iwara, what's the last thing you remember? He blinked at the name, then stammered, Tsunade? What just happened? She slapped him, not hard, but hard enough to cut through the fog. Focus, she commanded. He steadied. He muttered, that kid. Knocking me out, and jerked toward Kaito. Tsunade nodded, then said to Kaito, knock him out again. Kaito tapped the man's temple with a controlled burst. The rogue went limp and collapsed back onto the bed. Tsunade exhaled slowly. Well, that worked. Hitomi still looked stunned. I didn't think that would actually be possible. Kaito rubbed his head. So, what now? Tsunade's face hardened. Everything that happened here is classified S-rank. No one speaks of it. Not to anyone. She fixed Kaito with a glare that left no room for argument. You don't understand how serious this is. If word gets out, whole nations will come for you, for Kushina, for Naruto. This kind of power, people would kill for it. Kaito held up both hands. I know. I get it. And, You don't give this to people, Tsunade snapped. Keep it strictly between the Hokage office and anyone I approve. Kaito scratched his head, sheepish. I was thinking of giving my friends one each, like, just in case. Tsunade's tone cut him off. Fine. Maybe give your friends one. But the revival ability stays between us. You understand? He swallowed. Yeah. Tsunade's warning hung in the air. Only those you trust completely get to know. She turned away and picked up the tablet again. Later, in Hayashi's quiet study, the faint pop of chakra announced Hitomi and Kaito's return. Hitomi steadied herself and laughed, smoothing her kimono. Still not used to hiraishin. Sorry, Kaito said, bowing. Thank you for helping. I'll be off now. In a puff they vanished. Hayashi set down his brush and asked, how did it go? Hitomi poured tea and smiled. The seal works. Tsunade wants more tests before proceeding with Kushina. Hayashi nodded. Then it went well. Hitomi's eyes softened. Hataru is lucky. I hope she and Kaito end up together. Hayashi lifted his cup in a small, deliberate nod. Yes. He looked thoughtful for a beat, then added quietly, seeing the lengths he goes to for the people he loves. There isn't a better match we could wish for Hataru. Kushina blinked again, then slowly ran a hand up her face as if checking a phantom shadow. Her fingers met smooth, warm skin. No lines, no tiredness. She widened her eyes, staring at her palm, then laughed, a bright, incredulous sound that filled the room. Kaikuen? She whispered, voice trembling. She looked up at him, and the tears returned, but now they were different, full of astonishment and joy. I feel so light, you know. Like all the heaviness is gone. Kaito was frozen for half a second, then he launched forward and took her into both arms. He buried his face in the crook of her neck and breathed like a man who'd been holding his breath for years. It worked, Mom. It really worked, you know. Tsunade shoved the tablet toward him. The readouts were clean, blood pressure normal, chakra flow steady, telomere markers reset to youthful readings. Vitals stable. All systems restored, she said, watching the numbers as if they were a miracle written in code. Her biological markers show a significant reversal. Cellular age is back in the 20s range. Kushina pulled back and examined herself in Tsunade's reflective surface on the tablet. She giggled, a little embarrassed and so very happy. Oh my goodness, Kaito, you finally made me look presentable for my own son, you know? She flicked a lock of hair, which had a brighter sheen than before. This hair, did you do something to the dye too? Kaito let out a shaky laugh and shrugged, unable to stop grinning. Nope. Just your natural awesomeness, Mom. Tsunade's expression softened for a fraction of a second before tightening back into professional caution. She tapped the tablet and scrolled through hormonal panels, endocrine traces, and chakra spike trends. It's stable for now. But like I said earlier, rapid rejuvenation can cause endocrine shock, hormone imbalance, and in rare cases neurological lag if the brain's metabolic profile doesn't recalibrate correctly. We'll keep her under observation for the standard monitoring window. Kushina pouted dramatically, then brightened. Observation? You mean, I get to stay here and be fussed over? That sounds cozy, you know. She glanced at Kaito and squeezed his hand. But only if Kaikuen stays with me the whole time. Kaito's face lit up brighter than the seal had earlier. Of course, Mom. I'm not leaving your side. He kissed the back of her hand like a dopey idiot and then glanced at Tsunade. I'll set up a schedule, yo. I'll help out. Whatever you need. Tsunade snorted, but there was no malice in it. Good. I'm assigning Shizen to run continuous tests. Ibiki will handle the confidentiality protocols you two signed earlier. No records, no outside disclosure. This remains S-rank. Understood. Kaito's smile flattened into a serious, steady line. Understood. No one else finds out. Promise. Tsunade didn't look convinced by a grin, so she added, "And Kaito, if you even think about handing these out like party favors, I will personally revoke your right to breathe air. Keep production limited. One for each person at most, and they get them only under my supervision." "Why yes ma'am," Kaito said, hands up. "Got it." Shizun bustled in then, efficient, calm, already holding a clipboard. "We'll get her to a monitoring bed," she said, voice brisk. "I'll set up hormone panels, full chakra profiles at 1-hour intervals, and cognitive checks every 3. Tsunade, do you want to start with a light stimulation test or rest first?" Tsunade glanced at Kushina, who was already fussing with the bangle as if it were a new bracelet. "Light stimulation. Give her something small, taste test, gentle exercise. We need to confirm systemic response." Kushina clapped her hands. "Ooh, food test. I call dibs on ramen." Kaito laughed and scooped a chair closer to the monitoring bed as nurses moved in with professional silence. Kushina lay back, still smiling, the bangle snug on her wrist. For a moment she closed her eyes and let the steady hum of the hospital, machines, soft footsteps, the muted murmur of staff, wrap around her. "Kaikuan," she said very softly, "thank you for not giving up on me." Kaito's throat tightened. He swallowed and forced his voice steady. "Wouldn't do anything different, Mom. You're my family. I couldn't stand the idea of you not being here, you know." Tsunade cleared her throat. "Enough sentimental garbage for today. We've got monitoring to do. Kaito, assist Shizun. Kushina, don't do anything reckless like trying to cook in the middle of observation. You're officially not allowed to overwork yourself for the next week." Kushina stuck her tongue out playfully, then feigned solemnity. "Yes, Lady Tsunade. I shall obey." Shizun hooked Kushina to the monitoring lines, and the tablet beeped rhythmically with each pulse. The initial readings showed a slight spike in certain hormones, nothing catastrophic, and Tsunade made a few quick notes, brow furrowed. "Everything looks clean so far," she said. "But we'll need 48 hours of observations at minimum. If anything odd appears, mood swings, fatigue, chakra spikes, you call me immediately. Kaito, you come with her. Don't leave." Kaito saluted in a ludicrous show of formality that made Kushina laugh. The sound, full, untouched by wear, brightened the room again. As the nurses finished securing lines and Shizun arranged comfortable bedding, Kushina's eyes drifted toward the window, where the village glowed beneath the afternoon sun. She squeezed Kaito's hand and said softly, "Let's go home after this, okay? We can walk. No flying." Kaito blinked. "Really?" "Yeah. I want to eat your terrible curry again and complain about it." She winked. "And maybe do some shopping. I have to update my wardrobe to match my youthful visage." Kaito laughed so hard Tsunade couldn't help but shake her head. The monitoring continued. Lights, numbers, small talk, a professional bubble of attention. And through it all Kaito sat by Kushina's side, half inventor, half son, entirely undone each time she smiled. Tsunade watched him for a long beat and then, almost inaudibly, muttered, "You did well, brat." Kaito looked up at her, surprised. "Thanks, Lady Tsunade." She shrugged, eyes on the tablet. "Just don't make me regret trusting you with this secret." He nodded, solemn. "I won't. I promise." Outside, the village carried on. People moving through their day, oblivious to the small miracle unfolding in a hospital room. Inside, Kushina reached for a bowl of simple miso soup. Shizun insisted on letting her try first. She took a sip, closed her eyes, and sighed contentedly. "It's perfect," she said, eyes watering a new kind of happy tear. "You did it, Kaikuan. You really did it." Kushina slid the bangle onto her wrist. It tightened a fraction and settled comfortably in place. Kaito drew a scroll, flicked it open, and freed a single tag, the Life Pulse regeneration seal. He looked up at her. "You ready, Mom?" She inhaled, steady. "Yeah. I'm ready, Kaikuan." He pressed the tag gently to her forehead and stepped back. 1, 2, 3. Kai. A green light bloomed, wrapping Kushina in a warm cocoon. Kaito and Tsunade shielded their eyes until the glow died away. Kushina blinked like someone waking from a deep sleep, dazed for a heartbeat before she focused on them. How do you feel? Kaito asked, voice small with worry. Kushina flexed her fingers, smiled slowly. Lighter. Like I lost a few kilos. Groggy, like after a long nap. Then her eyes widened. The seal, did it work? Check your chakra, Tsunade said, tapping the tablet. A three-dimensional map of Kushina's chakra network lit up, whole and humming. Kushina closed her eyes, inhaled, and reached out. A golden chakra chain erupted from her back and slammed into the wall with a satisfying crack, punching a hole clean through it. She stared at the destruction, then at her hands, and laughed, free and shocked. It worked. Kaito whooped and jumped. Kushina swung the chain back and, on impulse, wrapped it around him in a sudden, fierce hug and peppered his cheek with kisses. Thank you, Kaikuan. You're the best son any mother could ask for. Mom, okay, it's ticklish. Kaito squirmed as she smothered him. Tsunade, staring at the gaping hole in her office wall, pinched the bridge of her nose. You fix that before the end of the day, she told him flatly. Yeah. On it. Kaito formed a hand sign. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. The clone that popped out crossed its arms, annoyed. Why am I stuck fixing this? I'm not your maid, you know. It dispelled itself in a puff of smoke. Tsunade sighed. We are never doing this in my office again. Kushina grinned sheepishly. Maybe I should find someone to patch it up. You're not going anywhere yet, Tsunade said. Full checkup first. Blood tests, chakra levels, the whole thing. Kushina pouted but nodded. As Tsunade turned to leave, she gave Kaito a quick hug. I'm sorry about the wall, she said. And thanks again. He waved her off. No worries. I'm just glad you're okay. A few hours later, in a quiet hospital room, Kushina sat on the edge of the bed, feet dangling, humming. Tsunade combed through the test results. Everything looks fine. No hormone spikes, no chakra instability, she murmured, pleased. A loud rumble announced Kushina's hunger. She laughed. Skipped lunch, you know. Tsunade stepped out to fetch the reports. Kaito breezed in, breathless. I patched it, but I had to repaint. The patch sticks out a little. How's Mom? He asked. Waiting on the bloodwork, but otherwise stable, Tsunade answered. Then a thoughtful look crossed her face. How old do you think she looks now, Kaito? Kaito glanced at Kushina, who held up a hand mirror he offered. She peered in and nearly squealed. I look like I'm in my 20s. I could pass as your older sister, Kaikuan. Tsunade returned with the test results and scanned them. Everything checks out. Her telomeres rewound as expected. Physically, she's restored, I'd estimate about 23. Kushina clasped her hands, radiant. I feel 20, 23, whatever. Maybe I'll go back on missions after Naruto graduates. Tsunade's face hardened slightly. Take a year or two to train first. You've been off the field a long time. Kaito hesitated, then asked, Lady Tsunade, do you think the seal could work on Itachi? Tsunade shook her head slowly. It can repair the body's condition, but Itachi's illness is systemic. The seal would buy time, maybe, but it isn't a cure. A weaker application might help without overwhelming him, though. Kaito nodded, thoughtful. Tsunade gave them both a final look and stood. You're free to go. Kushina popped from the bed, bubbling with energy. Let's celebrate. Hot springs, dinner, kids, anyone. Kaito pulled the scroll from his pouch again and unsealed a single life pulse tag. He held it out to Tsunade. This one's for you, he said. Tsunade raised an eyebrow. For me. You told me, your regeneration jutsu costs you, Kaito said quietly. When I'm in sage mode, I can feel the toll. This can restore your body like it did for Mom. It's for the village, and for you. Tsunade's expression flickered, reluctance, then something softer. Kushina squeezed her hand. Take it, Tsunade, she urged. Tsunade hesitated a heartbeat, then offered a small, wry smile. All right, brat. Do it. Kaito pressed the tag to Tsunode's forehead. A green light wrapped around her and then faded. For an instant, the illusion of jutsu dropped. The frail, untransformed woman beneath was visible. Then the glow settled, and Tsunode stood there, younger, stronger, hair fuller, features sharper. But in the process, the sleeve of her top had slipped down embarrassingly, revealing more than she'd intended. Kaito went red as a sunburst. Kushina grabbed a sheet and draped it over Tsunode before Tsunode could react. "Oops," Kushina said, grinning. "Sorry, Tsunade." Tsunade yanked her top back into place, cheeks flaming. "You're lucky you didn't do that on purpose, brat." Kaito squeaked and covered his face. Kushina laughed. "Maybe Kaikuan's got a thing for older women," she teased. Tsunode's stern mask cracked, and a single tear slipped. She walked to Kaito and hugged him before he could brace. It was genuine, fierce, and short. "Thank you. You don't know what you gave me." Then she smacked him lightly. "If you tell anyone I cried, I'll break your jaw." Kaito rubbed his arm and grinned, relieved. Kushina and Tsunode shared a conspiratorial look while Kaito tried to breathe normally. Later, at the onsen, steam blurred the world. Tsunode leaned back against warm stone, sake in hand. Kushina floated dumplings on the surface and took a bite. She hummed. "This is perfect." Tsunode watched the ripples, voice low. "I'm envious of you, Kushina." Kushina blinked. "Of me? Why?" Tsunode sighed. "Not your strength. What you have, your family, your light. You've been through hell and still. You came out laughing. And your son." She paused, eyes distant. "Kaito looks at people. Like they matter. Like you matter. I used to want that. To teach a kid, to be tired and fall asleep next to them. I gave up on that. Too dangerous." Kushina reached and squeezed her hand. "Tsunade." Tsunode let a wet laugh escape. "I guess a part of me wishes I had a son like him." Kushina's eyes softened, then she gave her a mischievous nudge. "Now that you're young again, what's stopping you?" Tsunode nearly choked on her sake. Kushina leaned in, whispering like a scheming ant. "Maybe give Jiraiya a chance." Tsunode spluttered in protest. Kushina laughed until steam rose between them. The onsen held their warmth and their laughter, a small, stubborn promise that some moments can be rewound, and sometimes, that's the start of something new. Tsunode's eyes narrowed. "Don't you dare." Too late. Kushina leaned in, grinning like mischief incarnate. "Maybe it's finally time to give Jiraiya a chance. Tsunode nearly choked on her sake. "Kushina." "What?" "He's loyal, patient, and he worships the ground you walk on." "The pervy act?" "Cover. Deep down he's serious about you." Kushina kept up the tease, unrelenting. Tsunode's face flushed. "He's a pain in my ass. He'd write a book about this tomorrow." Kushina laughed so hard she almost slipped beneath the steam. "Come on. You two are basically an old married couple already." "I will drown you, tomato," Tsunode threatened, but the corner of her mouth betrayed her. She was smiling. Kushina softened, sincere now. "At least consider it. You deserve someone who sees the woman, not only the Hokage." Tsunode studied her sake for a long beat. "Maybe." Kushina squeezed her hand. "You've still got time, Tsunade. Don't close that door forever." Tsunode looked up, lifted her cup, and sipped. The steam drifted between them like a promise. Morning came slow over the Uzumaki home. Kaito toweled his hair dry and stared at himself in the mirror. "Guess I need a trim," he muttered, then grabbed a shirt and padded into the kitchen. Kushina was at the stove, humming and flipping impossibly fluffy soufflé pancakes. Karen stirred batter nearby. The vanilla-sweet smell filled the room. "Morning, Mom." Kaito pulled orange juice from the fridge. Kushina plated a stack with pride. "Sit, breakfast's almost ready, you know." Kaito's grin faltered when he recognized the pancakes. "You only make these for big occasions. Whose birthday did I forget?" "No occasion," Kushina teased. "Just felt like spoiling everyone." A knock at the door announced company. Kaito opened it to Hoku, Guren, and Kimimaro, 3 respectful, familiar faces. "Good morning, Kaito and I," they chorused. Kushina called from the stove, "Come in, eat while they're hot, you know." The table quickly filled with laughter and polite bows. "Where's Naruto?" Hoku asked. "Probably still asleep," Guren shrugged. Kushina disappeared to the hall and reappeared a moment later, having doused someone with water. Then Naruto barreled in, damp hair, towel around his neck, grumbling but instantly mollified by the mountain of pancakes Kushina set before him. "You better not choke. My training will be hard, you know," she warned as Naruto inhaled food like a man on a mission. Between bites, Kushina clapped her hands. "No academy today. You're training with me." "Yatta!" Naruto cried, shoving his fork in triumph and nearly upending the table. Kushina bonked his head and laughed, wiping the floor of crumbs and good intentions. Kaito had to dash off for a summons. "Tsunade called me, meeting first thing this morning," he told them, hoping to join the training later. Kaito arrived at the Hokage's office, straightened his pants, and saw Hataru waiting in the corridor. She'd returned from a mission 3 days prior, weary from paperwork and composed as ever. "Kaito-kun," she greeted. "Good morning." "Lady Tsunade summoned both of us," Shizune said when she appeared, blushing faintly at Kaito's congratulatory aside about her engagement. Kushina had indeed been excited. They entered Tsunade's office. The Hokage stood by the window, tea in hand, eyes thoughtful. When Hataru blurted out that Tsunade looked younger, she only smiled and nodded toward Kaito. "That's thanks to your boyfriend over there." "Boyfriend?" Hataru squealed, hugging Kaito in her surprise, and then blushing furiously when she realized how close she'd been. Tsunade's smirk faded into business. "I called you in because I'm assigning the 2 of you to organize the upcoming Chunin exams. Planning, logistics, diplomatic guests, everything. I trust you." Kaito blinked. "Us?" "Yes. You need the experience," Tsunade said. "And you're not getting any younger, figuratively or otherwise." Her voice softened for a moment. "By the time you're 18 or 19, I want you prepared." Kaito slumped into the chair, stunned. Before he could protest, a knock cut through the room. Shikoku Nara entered with a pile of reports and the habitually tired look of a man doing the thinking the village relied on. Shikoku reported good news. This year's academy had a full graduation rate and Shikoku handed over his shortlist of jonin for team placements. Tsunade skimmed the list, already plotting the next steps. A new knock, Shizune announced Fugoku Uchiha. He came in grave-faced. "Lady Hokage, we lost contact with a border patrol near the northeast ridge. A recovery team found signs of a skirmish. No bodies, no gear. Someone covered their tracks." Silence fell. Kaito's easy demeanor sharpened. "If it's a test of our response," Shikoku mused, "they isolate a unit, watch how we move." Fugoku's report hardened into a plan. Tsunade asked for recommendations. Fugoku suggested their best stealth operatives. "Fetch Shursui Uchiha, Takuma Hyuga, and Reido Namishi," Tsunade ordered. An ANBU appeared at her fingertips and vanished on a mission. She turned back to Kaito and Hataru. "As for the Chunin exams, consider it your responsibility now. Invitations are out. Make sure it runs smoothly." Hataru bowed. "We will do our best, Lady Hokage." Kaito nodded, still processing the sudden weight of expectations. Hataru slipped her hand into his and guided him out. The office door clicked softly closed behind them, and the village's next chapter, plans, dangers, and the quiet forging of new leaders, moved forward. Kaito's jaw set. "Yeah, so what? Why does everyone treat being a shinobi like it makes us different? It's a job. We're still human. If I can do something, I'll do it." The room fell awkwardly quiet. Shikoku studied him. Tsunade watched, then let a faint smirk slip. Fugoku cleared his throat. "If stealth's what you need," Fugoku said, "send Shursui. He's our best at recon." Tsunade didn't blink. With a casual wave, an ANBU materialized and dropped to one knee. "Fetch Shursui Uchiha, Takuma Hyuga, and Reido Namishi," she ordered. "Now." The ANBU vanished as though pulled by a string. Tsunade let out a long breath and turned back to Kaito and Hataru. You two are dismissed. The Chunin exam invitations are out. From this point, planning and coordination are on you. Hataru bowed. We'll do our best, Lady Hokage. Kaito nodded, a little hollow. Hataru took his wrist gently and led him out. The office door closed softly behind them. Outside, the village hummed with life. At a small cafe on the main street, Kaito stared out the window, cheek propped on his hand. A folder, Tsunade's seal still intact, sat between him and Hataru. Quit being so dramatic, Hataru teased when the waitress stepped away. It's not the end of the world. Kaito let out a heavy sigh. You wouldn't get it, Hataru. My days are, he swallowed, they're numbered, you know. His voice dropped. I'll be stuck in that office. Paperwork forever. Hataru blinked, then smiled patient. Most would be thrilled. But you. It's worse than that. He rubbed his temple. Paperwork breeds more paperwork. The longer you do it, the more you get buried. I thought I had more time to be out there. To be me. She reached across the table and turned his face toward her. Kaikuin, look at me. He met her eyes. You're scared you aren't ready, she said softly, reading him. You're afraid you'll mess up. He didn't answer, but she kept going. I know you. You don't give up. You find a way. If anyone can handle this, it's you. You'll be the best Hokage Konoha's ever had. Her confidence loosened something in him. He laughed, small and stunned. Mom's the only one who usually sees through me. But you might know me as well. They drifted closer without meaning to, close enough to feel each other breathe, then both snapped back, flushed and awkward. I'll open the folder, Kaito said, grateful for the distraction. We should probably plan. Hataru brightened. We keep the tests core, but change how we test them. More real mission scenarios. Less rote, something that actually makes them think. Their conversation warmed and sharpened as they sketched ideas, simulated escort missions, capture the flag bases, intelligence puzzles. Then Kaito glanced up. Outside, Itachi and Izumi were walking past. Kaito waved. They came in. Izumi teased them about being on a date. Both Kaito and Hataru nearly combusted. When it turned to the exams, Itachi lent a measured hand. Make the first stage an intel test. Give teams limited and conflicting information, force choices under time pressure. That shows judgment, not just raw skill. Itachi agreed to proctor the first stage. Izumi and Hataru planned to recruit Hana. The group disbanded later with new tasks and a sense of momentum. Kaito bought snacks and headed to the training ground. The clearing behind the Uzumaki house looked like a battlefield aftermath. Kushina stood in the center, upright and energetic. Naruto, Karen, Hoku, Kimimaro, and Guren lay sprawled and panting. Get up. Kushina barked, half mischievous. We're not even halfway through. They moaned. Kushina blinked. What? I haven't trained in 10 years and I'm still outpacing you. From a branch overhead, Kaito watched, bemused. He dropped down, the group cheering his arrival like rescue. Mom, help us. Naruto wheezed. Kaito laughed and told Kushina to cut them some slack. She just grinned and kept going. Later, after food and a short rest, Kushina challenged Kaito to a spar. Kaito fell into her chakra chains, dangling, humiliated and laughing. The others watched, stunned she'd outmaneuvered him. Then, because Kushina was never content with just one victory, she snatched them all up with a grin and a whirl of glowing chains. When the sun set and the stars rose, Kaito stayed up late working on exam notes. Past midnight he heard soft sniffling outside. On the deck beneath the full moon, Kushina sat looking at the sky. Kaito found her there and sat beside her. She patted her lap, he rested his head there, exhausted and comforted. She stroked his hair, thinking of his father, humming quietly. Sleep took him. Kushina kissed his forehead and whispered thanks, watching him sleep like a mother always does. That night in another house, Naruto woke from a nightmare with a gasp and sat in the moonlit dark, heart pounding. Reminder that not everyone in Konoha sleeps peacefully, and that responsibility and danger still circled the village like a distant storm. Kushina keeps brushing his hair, eyes soft. She looks down at him, Kaito sleeping in her lap, peaceful. Leaning forward, she presses a gentle kiss to his forehead. "Thank you, Kaikuan," she whispers. Under the full moon, with the village quiet, Kushina stays exactly where she is, watching over her son like she always has. Elsewhere in the house, moonlight slants through a window onto Naruto's sleeping form. His brow is tight, sweat beading at his temple. He mumbles in his sleep, "No, no," clutching his pillow, twitching. Then he bolts upright with a strangled gasp, chest heaving, eyes wild. "Wow, what was that?" he whispers, swallowing hard. The room steadies, he's still safe. He exhales, lies back, and stares at the ceiling. Was that real? Dawn washes the village in gold. On the back patio, Kushina sits propped against a pillar. Kaito still sleeps across her knees, breathing slow. She nudges him gently. "Kaikuan, wake up," she says. He mumbles, buries his face, then blinks awake. He apologizes sheepishly for dozing off in her lap. Kushina just ruffles his hair and smiles. She wouldn't trade the moment. They wander inside. Kushina plans breakfast. Kaito teases that the training crew will be useless after yesterday's session with her. He vanishes after saying he'll do a morning workout. An hour later, Kushina, in a yellow dress, pads the hall and wakes Karen with a soft knock. Karen groans herself awake. Kushina teases, fusses, then goes to Naruto's room, only to find the bed empty, the blanket on the floor. She checks the bathroom, empty. The house is suddenly too quiet. She summons a shadow clone to tidy the room, then looks everywhere, kitchen, garden, no Naruto. She frowns, puzzled, then brightens with a theory. Maybe he went to train with Kaito. She hums as she pulls ingredients for tamagoyaki and miso soup. Guests arrive, Hoku, Guren, Kimimaro, and everyone sits for breakfast. Kushina plates bowls, calls the group to eat. Kaito strolls in, towel around his neck. "Morning," he says, digging in. Then his casual forkful freezes. "Where's Naruto, Mom?" Kushina's face drains. "Wait, what? He was with you, right?" Panic spikes. Kaito and Kushina exchange frantic questions. The house had felt empty this morning. He wasn't there. Kaito's stomach tightens. "Did your clone see him?" Kushina asks. "No, my clone dispelled last night." Kaito's voice is flat with worry. He closes his eyes, reaches for the Hiration tag he'd placed on Naruto, and sifts through his senses. Relief comes first. "He's nearby," Kaito says. He narrows his focus and extends chakra, mind's eye of Kagura, pinpointing Naruto's signature. "He's at the Hokage monument. He's alone." Kushina exhales so hard she laughs and then scolds at once. "When I get my hands on that kid, what was he thinking, making me worry like that?" Her worry folds into fierce mother anger. Kaito watches her shift. His chakra feels off, like he's sad. Kushina's anger dissolves into confusion and then concern. She nods, softening. Kaito makes a shadow clone in a flash. "This clone will take you guys to the academy," he tells the others. "We'll bring Naruto back." He places a hand on Kushina's back, then, together, they vanish. The clone smiles calmly at the stunned breakfast table. "He'll be fine. Finish your food. Mom and boss will bring him back soon," it says, and begins shepherding them toward the door. Kushina's fists clenched. "Wait till I get my hands on you, brat," she barked, stomping toward the door. "Wait, Mom," Kaito called, catching her before she could storm off. She turned, puzzled. "What is it, Kaikuan?" Kaito's face darkened. "Naruto's chakra. It feels wrong. Like he's sad." Kushina blinked, her anger melted into confusion. "Sad? Why would he be sad?" "I don't know, but I'm coming with you." She softened, worry replacing fury. Kaito made a shadow clone in a flash. "This one'll stay and walk you kids to the academy if we're late," he said, then set his palm to Kushina's back. In an instant they vanished. Karen stared at the empty space. Is Naruto really okay? She whispered, worry plain in her voice. She'd never seen Naruto like this, always loud, always bright. Kaito's clone smiled reassuringly. He'll be fine. Finish breakfast. Mom and boss will bring him back soon, you know, it said, shepherding the others. Dawn warmed the village hidden in the leaves. Stalls opened, merchants called out, patrols strolled the alleys, ordinary life humming along. High above that bustle, on the stone face of the fourth Hokage, a small blonde boy lay motionless atop the sculpted hair. Naruto Uzumaki stared at the pale blue sky, one arm flung across his face. Sunlight finally warmed his cheeks. Faint tear streaks marked his skin. He must have been crying for hours. He tucked a hand behind his head and reached toward the birds drifting across the clouds as if trying to catch something beyond his grasp. Am I really a monster? He whispered to the empty sky. Footsteps landed. 2 figures dropped onto the monument a few feet away. Naruto sat up, blinking. Kara-chan? Ni-chan? He managed. Kushina landed, breathless, then straightened with her usual fire. Naruto! She shouted. For a split second the shout threatened the reprimand, then she saw his face. The dried tear tracks, the red eyes. Her fist lowered. Fury vanished. Concern took over. She hurried to his side and cupped his face, thumbs tracing the salty lines. What happened? Are you hurt? Tell Mama, you know, she said, voice trembling. Naruto curled inward and hid his face. Kaito kept his distance, jaw tight. The boy's chakra felt heavy, depressed, not simply tired. Kushina leaned in, pleading. Please baby, tell me. Did something happen? We can take you to Tsunodene right now. Naruto mumbled, voice raw. Kushina leaned closer. I can't hear you. Say it louder. I know, he said. Kushina froze. You know. Naruto sprang up, palms pressed to his stomach as if to hold himself together. I know there's a monster sealed inside me. He cried, the words tearing out of him. I know why people look at me like that. I'm a ticking bomb. I'm a danger. Tears streamed as he remembered the past. What if I lose control again? What if I hurt you? What if I hurt everyone? Kaito stepped forward, voice steady. Naruto, listen. Don't believe everything it tells you. No. Naruto snapped. He said it. He told me. If I lose control, he'll break free. Panic tightened his voice. I don't want to hurt anyone. Kaito put a firm hand on his shoulder. Calm down. Look at me. Naruto obeyed, shaking but attentive. First, we weren't in the hospital because of you, Kaito said plainly. Naruto blinked. But, Kaito explained, I was fighting someone. You passed out because your chakra surged, instinct. I was hurt. I ended up recovering in the hospital. Don't let the fox twist the truth. It feeds on fear. He let out a breath. We'll explain everything. Start at the beginning. Naruto's voice cracked. Why did Dad seal it in me? What did I ever do to deserve this? Kaito and Kushina exchanged looks, then sat down. Kaito began, careful and gentle. Do you know how the village started? Naruto shrugged. Hashirama founded it with someone from the Uchiha, right? Madara Uchiha, Kaito corrected. They founded Konoha together. Madara left, returned with hatred, and with the 9 tails. He sketched the history, Sharingan, Mangekyo, how the Uchiha could subdue tailed beasts, and how Hashirama fought Madara and the fox with would release and sage power. Kushina added the part only she could. Mito-sama, the first's wife, and Uzumaki, sealed the 9 tails in herself first. That's how the beast entered the village. Naruto's eyes widened. Jinchuriki. People who host tailed beasts, Kaito said. And when it came time later, they had to choose hosts who could hold the beast. I was born with traits that help. It's why they selected Mom at one point. But things change. Kushina's voice softened. When a Jinchuriki gives birth, the seal weakens. During childbirth, the seal is at its most fragile. She looked at Naruto. That's why things happened the way they did with your birth. Naruto's face fell. So I caused the attack? Kaito bonked him lightly on the head. Stop jumping ahead, let us finish. He told the story as it unfurled, the masked man, the bombs, Minato's desperate choices. When the beast was pulled out, a Jinchuriki usually dies, Kaito said. It's brutal, the body can't take it. Mom survived longer because of her Uzumaki life force, but she still suffered. Naruto's panic flared again. How are you alive, Mom? You were hurt. How did you survive? Kushina smiled through tears. Kaito healed me, he gave me life force. He was young, but he saved me. I paid the price with pain and weakness for years, but I got to be with you both. Kaito added, grim but factual, your father split the 9 tails. One half went with him, the other had to be dealt with. He sealed the remaining portion in you because he believed you could bear the responsibility one day. He thought you could stop what might come. Naruto's hands shook. Dad said that. Kushina nodded. He believed in you. He did what he had to. The explanation washed over Naruto, confusing, heartbreaking, and somehow steadier for knowing the truth. Kushina pulled him into her lap and held him while he cried, the sobs softening into quiet shudders. Kaito sat beside them and let the silence do part of the work. When Naruto finally wiped his eyes and lowered his head, the tremor in his voice had calmed. So what now? He whispered. Kaito met his gaze. Now, he said, we learn what this means and how to handle it. We don't let fear run the show. You're not alone, never alone. Kushina stroked his hair. We're right here. We'll teach you. We'll keep you safe, you know. Naruto nodded, fragile but steadier, a boy who had been told the truth at last, and who would have to grow through it with the people who loved him. Kushina jumped back, flustered. Wah. No. I didn't mean it like that, you know. I'm just confused. She giggled, nuzzling his cheek. Don't worry, Naruto. I'm only teasing. She sat back, fingers playful in his hair. You remember, Kai and Karen can heal people if they bite them, right? Naruto's eyes went huge. So, Kai healed you with that? Kushina nodded. Hi. He did. But that alone wasn't enough. Kaikuin had to give me some of his life force to keep me alive. Life force? Naruto echoed, puzzled. And that wraps up today's episode of What If Naruto Had a Big Brother. Kaito's journey is only getting more intense, and the future of the ninja world is changing with every step he takes. If you enjoyed this episode and want to see what happens next, make sure to hit that like button, share the video with other Naruto fans, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update. Drop your theories in the comments. I love reading them. See you in the next episode.